Okay, question 40. Kasey and Andrew each went for a walk once a day for 4 days. Kasey walked 3/4 of a mile each day. Andrew walked 3/5 of a mile each day. At the end of 4 days, how much farther in miles had Kasey walked than Andrew? So, because this question is using fractions as the starting point, I'm going to solve this using fractions, and then I'm going to show you another way to do it. So if Kasey walked 3/4 of a mile a day, we need to figure out how far Kasey went in 4 days. So we do that by multiplying by 4. All right, and 3 times 4 is 12 over 4, and that's 3, or we can simplify right up front and end up with 3 over 1, which is the same as 3. Now Andrew walked 3/5 of a mile a day over 4 days, and that gives us 12 over 5 miles. So we have two fractions here now, 12 over 5 and 3 over, well, call this 3 over 1. But in order to subtract fractions, we need to have a common denominator. And since we've got a denominator of 5 here, we'll just make 3 a number with a common denominator. And I can do that by, I'm going to multiply the denominator by 5. But if we do that, we also have to multiply the numerator by 5. The reason is 5 over 5 is equal to 1, so I'm just multiplying 3 by 1, which does not change the value in any way, which is what we want. So now we've got 15 over 5 and 12 over 5, and now we can easily subtract these numbers. So let's do that. We have 15 over 5 minus 12 over 5, and we get 15 minus 12 is 3, and bring the 5 over, and this is our answer, 3/5. So that's not too bad. But I'm going to show you one other way to do it if you kind of want to get away from the fractions for a moment. Now, fractions are great, and there's a lot of reasons to use them. And sometimes it's more accurate to use them. But in this case, it will work fine either way, and I'll show you why. So I can divide, every fraction is a potential division problem, right? 4 goes into 3. Well, it doesn't go into 3, but it will go into 30. 4 times 7 is 28. And we're left with 2, and I can add another 0. And 4 goes into 25 times. So 3/4 is equal to 0.75. Let's put a pin in that for a second. And now let's go to 3/5. So we'll go 5 into 3. Well, it doesn't go into 3, but it will go into 30 evenly 6 times. So now we've got 0.75 and 0.6. Now we need to go to the next step. We need to multiply 0.75 times 4 days, right? Because a 0.75 is how far Kasey walked in 1 day. So 4 times 5 is 20, 4 times 7 is 28, plus 2 is 30. And then we have 2 decimal points that we need to contend with, 1, 2. So this answer is 3, which, if you notice, is the same as right there, okay? And now this one, we've got 0.6. Let me turn this back to blue. We've got 0.6 times 4. 4 times 6 is 24. And then we've got the 1 decimal point over, so it's going to be 2.4 here. Okay, so now we can subtract the Kasey's walk minus Andrew's walk. I have to add a 0 there to subtract. 10 minus 4 is 6. Bring down my decimal. And then this goes to 0. Okay, so now I've got 0.6. And just so you know, these answers are the same, and I'll show you real quick. 3 divided by 5. Well, actually, we've already done that right over here. Okay? So we're done. That is the answer. So choose whatever way is best for you in the moment. And the reason I say it's just as accurate to use a decimal as it is a fraction, because there's nothing repeating here. There's nothing repeating here. So it's perfectly fine. And then we also validated when we divided 3 divided by 5, we got 0.6. So everything's cool. All right, just a side note too, 39% of students that took this test got it right. So it's one of the lower performing problems, meaning it was difficult for a lot of students. This was a fill in the blank. That could have something to do with it, but I do think it most likely is the fractions. So now that you can see how to do this, I think you just practice it a few times and you should be good to go. All right, I hope this helps, and I will see you in the next one.